October, and Book of the Month has dropped their October selection. Let's take a look at the selections that Book of the Month has given us, and we will decide whether we should grab or skip this month. Let's go ahead and get started. So the very first book that Book of the Month has put on their list is a gothic fiction by a very famous author, Alix Harrow, called Starling House. First of all, can we just enjoy the cover? It's gorgeous. Okay, it's gorgeous. And in this story, we follow Opal. Now, Opal is an orphan. She's a high school dropout, and she is very protective of her brother. She's a part-time cashier, and she's determined to make a better life for her brother. She really wants to get out of this town of Kentucky because this town has given her nothing but bad luck, and the Starling House. Now, the Starling House, or the Starling House, is a house that has a lot of rumors tied to it, and it was once lived in by a very famous author named Starling. Now, Starling has left a lot of rumors after she passed on in a very famous novel called The Underland, along with her house and her heir Arthur. And Opal is obsessed with the Underland story, or book. So when she gets the chance to make a lot of money, enough money that she cannot refuse, by stepping into the Starling House and helping out around the house and helping out Arthur, the heir of the new Starling House, she cannot resist it. And when she enters this house, she finds that it's a lot more sinister than she had anticipated, and even Arthur is battling some ghosts in this house of his own. So it looks so good. Alix Harrow is another author that, like, I might do another take on I let my intuition pick the books that I read, because Alix Harrow is another author that I really think that I will enjoy if I read them. The next book that we have here is called Wellness, and this is by Nathan Hill. So it says, when Jack and Elizabeth meet as college students in the 90s. So in the 90s, these two just really stick together in Chicago's art underground because they really want to make a name for themselves. And it says here, fast forward 20 years of married life and parenthood, they encounter cults disguised as mindfulness support groups, polyamorous would-be suitors, Facebook wars, and something called Love Potion number 9. For the first time, Jack and Elizabeth struggle to recognize who each other really is, and the no longer youthful couple now has to face their inner demons, from unfulfilled career ambitions to painful childhood memories of their own dysfunctional families. In the process, Jack and Elizabeth must undertake separate self-reflections or risk losing the best thing that each other has, which is each other. And this one seems very interesting and very relevant to today's day and age. I feel like this is a really good book for couples that maybe have been married, or somebody that grew up in the 90s and just is now like just overtaken. Even me, like was not an adult in the 90s. I was a tiny little kid in the 90s. But even now, just looking at the electronics, the internet, and everything that we had back then versus what we have in the palm of our hands now is just astounding. So I feel like there might be a lot of really good commentary on how quickly social media and the internet grew, and what that says about us and how that has changed society. The story is called When I'm Dead, and it is a thriller, and it is about a medical examiner who goes into work, and then when she gets there, she's basically examining the death of her daughter's best friend. When she goes home, she finds that her daughter is completely missing. Her daughter Chloe is gone. She doesn't know where she's at. So little by little, her and her husband begin to uncover these clues, and these clues slowly begin to tear them apart. And our main character realizes that these secrets that they had is definitely coming back to haunt her, and karma is a bitch. This book looks okay. I just feel like a lot of the thrillers that I'm looking into are starting to have very repetitive premises, so I'm not finding anything different and new in these, so I might just skip for now. The next one is one that the cover is very interesting, but the cover is like one that, it's a beautiful cover, but it makes me feel like the book is boring. I don't know. It's just something about the cover that makes me feel like the book is boring, and that is so sad. I don't know why. And that is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. Now it says, in the small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. Farrow women are known for their thriving flower form and a mysterious curse that has plagued their family line. The whole town remembers the madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance, leaving June to be raised by her grandmother and haunted by rumors. Now it's been a year since June started seeing and hearing things that weren't there or aren't there. Faint wind chimes, a voice, and a mysterious door that opens out of nowhere. The signs that June always knew were coming. But June is determined to end the curse once and for all, even if that means that she has to sacrifice finding love and having a family of her own. After her grandmother's death, June discovers a series of cryptic clues regarding her mother's decades-old disappearance, except that they only lead to more questions. But could the door that she once assumed was a hallucination be the answer that she's actually been searching for? The next time it appears, June realizes that she can touch it, and she walks past the threshold. And when she does, she embarks on a journey that will not only change the past and the future, but will also uncover the lingering secrets of her small town and entangle her in an epic star-crossed love. So again, the synopsis doesn't really catch my attention. There's just something about the cover and just the synopsis that's like, eh. If the synopsis is like eh, and the cover is like eh, is the book gonna be eh? You know what I mean? So this is a skip for me. So from the moment that Ava and her son arrive in the Glen Avenue family shelter in Philadelphia in 1985, Ava, our main character, I'm assuming, is already plotting a way out. She's repulsed by the shelter's squalid conditions, the cockroach-infested rooms, the barely edible food, and the shifty night security guard. She is determined to rescue her son from this place and save herself from the complicated past that led them there. Ava has been estranged from her own mother since she left her Alabama home as a young woman barely out of her teens. Despite their estrangement and the thousands of miles between them, mother and daughter are deeply entwined. But Ava can't forgive her mother. Ava wants to love her son differently. She wants to love her son better. But when the son's father, Cass, reappears, she is swept off course by his charisma and the intoxicating power of his radical vision to destroy systems of racial injustice and bring about a new way of communal living. Meanwhile, in Alabama, Ava's mom, Duchess, struggles to keep Bonaparte, once a beacon of Black freedom and self-determination, in the hands of its last 5 Black residents. Families whose lives have been rooted in the stretch of land for generations, and away from radically encroaching white developers. She fights against the eraser of Bonaparte's venerable history and the loss of the land itself, which she has preserved to Ada's inheritance. This one is a slow build, and slow builds are not my thing. I need something that's very fast paced. So unfortunately, I am going to have to skip this one. The last one is The Leftover Woman by Jean Kwok. So in this next story, we follow a woman who is from China, and she is basically fleeing over to New York with no money, trying to flee her husband. And she leaves behind a daughter who she's forced to give up because of China's one-child policy, because of how overpopulated China is. So she goes to New York to try to find her daughter and try to escape her husband. But her husband is on her trail and trying to find his wife over in New York City. So on the other hand, we have this woman whose life is perfect. She has a good job. She's very successful. She has just adopted a Chinese daughter who she is absolutely in love with and will do anything for. However, she gets caught up in this scandal and her life begins to fall apart. Now we have these two women who are now entangled to each other because they have this love for this child, and their story just intertwines, and it just, this one actually seems really good. It's a tale of motherhood, but that's filled with suspense, and it just seems so good. Like, I just feel like we're bringing more moms into the literary space, into books, and I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that because, I mean, I am a mom. I am a mom of 2 kids, and I love how we're seeing more stories about parenthood, about motherhood, about what it's like to parent, about how deep a mother's devotion truly goes to our children, and also the struggles that we face, and how horrific it would be to be in certain situations like this. It's just, I love that this is more talked about now. So that is The Leftover Woman, and this is one that I might have to add to my box because I really do like this one. So this is a pick. Anyways, you guys, that is it. That is the October Book of the Month box. Please let me know down in the comments below which books you will be getting, or if you're going to be skipping this month. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!